Ladies and gentlemen, Bad Influence, Good Advice, we're back again. Episode 8. Can you guys believe it?
Episode 8, let's go.
I'm sitting here with some great people.
Amazing.
I'll let you guys introduce. I'll start with you. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Josh. Nice to meet you all.
Hey, come on. Anything, in 10 seconds, tell us about Josh. Who is Josh?
Josh is a young Zambian guy who loves Jesus and who lives on this planet.
Nice. Middleman, Mr. Zambia, what's up?
Of course, everyone knows the name. This is Big Jerry right here. This podcast is amazing and you already know about me, so I don't think I need to do 10 seconds.
No introductions.
Yeah.
Hi.
All eyes on you.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, I'm Rutendo. Zimbabwean, love God.
Represent.
Yeah. Always, it's a fight every day. So,
Yeah.
It's a fight every day.
Yeah.
Just before we let you go, so where does the Victoria fall?
I am not.
I tried to stop
really
him.
tried.
I tried to stop him.
You know the answer.
Let's end it now or forever hold your peace.
We're just gonna hold peace.
And then,
Okay.
I'm Tamika, also Zambian. I'm just trying to survive. Hey, I love God as well.
Representing.
nice. So on one of our previous episodes, we had Faith, and I actually found out about Ru and Tamika from a podcast because they spoke about. I think you guys spoke about time.
We spoke
No, the
about
tongue, like the power of words, and
Yeah,
and it was
power of
really
words.
like I was driving, listening to this, I was like, "Yo, this is amazing." So we thought it would be amazing to have you guys come on the podcast, share some of your wisdom.
Thanks.
you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, love.
Thanks
Today-
for coming on. Thanks for coming
Thank you for
on.
coming
No
on.
problem.
Today, really interesting topic today: self-control. Self-control. What comes to your mind when you hear self-control? Big man.
Self-control.
All eyes on me,
Self-control.
Self-control. Controlling self.
Hey, come on.
Because self
Wow,
wants to...
Joshua, wow.
Yeah, okay. Let me try to go a bit deeper. Because self wants to do stuff, right? Self wants to be self. Self wants to run things. Self wants to run the world. Self might want to do something that's gonna offend someone else,
Damn.
and then you need to control self. Maybe that's a little bit better.
So as we pause and just digest that, I just want to say that this episode is sponsored by SoulFit Fitness.
So fit.
Australia.
I need
Represent.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
We're getting the checks. We're getting the checks from them.
So fit.
Yo.
Now let's go back to the facts, man. Can you just slow it down a little bit for us, because
Wow.
some of us are slow. Speaking for Jerry,
Yeah. Speaking of
You gonna take that?
are you gonna take that, bro?
Bro, my God. I know what you say,
It's all
so
love.
I'm
It's all
not under pressure.
It's all right, bro.
Well, the number of times I have to break things down. Anyway, just for Jerry, right? Yeah, self-control. Yeah, I guess it's a battle in life,
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you might want something, but maybe it might not be the right thing for you, or
Well, he doesn't want you back.
yeah, or it doesn't want you back, or it might not even be an it, right?
Hey,
Person.
are you attacking me now? Yeah.
But yeah, self-control. Wow. So many scenarios where I personally have needed to exercise it, have needed to build, my ability to have it.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Rue,
That's amazing.
I think you're thinking about something.
Do you
wanna
About
share?
something? Oh, I'm just in my head, right? When I think of self-control, it's avoiding or being able to push past worldly desires. Because obviously everyone has worldly desires, and we get told that it's a fight between flesh and spirit. Yeah.
Pause.
Valid.
And some of the fights are harder to fight than others.
E.g. No. you can go.
For me personally, I actually
I can feel you thinking.
Yeah. It's more just small things like spending money.
Yeah.
I'm very bad at spending money.
Yeah.
For no reason.
We're going to go into that in detail. We're just going to start with the define
Surface
self-control.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. Everybody's got a lot of things.
That's very
Love to hear
We can't-
Tamika's.
We're gonna, yeah. What's self-control, Tamika?
Self-control, I don't know. When someone talks about self-control, I think of stoicism, like constantly fighting against your own desires in order to, like, be a better person. So, for example, it's like, even though I want to say something, I'm going to hold back using self-control for the greater good of, like, not hurting that person's feelings. And then, you know, obviously that's just like a simple example, but I think of, living a stoic life. That's self-control to me. And obviously, like, it's one of the fruits of the spirit, so we should all strive to having it, right?
Galatians 5:22-23.
Yeah, Gala 5. So we love to see it. Yeah. But I think also with, like, Galatians 5, it talks about, I was reading it maybe like a couple of days ago. It was talking about how, like, it's one fruit of the spirit, and it's like all these different things that like make up one fruit. For example, it's like a banana has potassium, it has calcium, it has a little bit of protein when you eat it. And when you take one bite of the banana, you're going to digest all of those things. In the same way that when you eat of the fruit of the spirit, you can't have one thing without another thing. So in order for you to have self-control, you also need love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and all that kind of thing. So you can't be loving. I mean, you can't have self-control without having love, type of thing. Yeah. That's what I think. Buy
one, get one free.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like when I eat a banana, I'm not just going to have potassium in my body. I can't just extract that and then force my body to digest everything else. Like, it's one fruit of the spirit. It's one thing that we have to, like, constantly do with the Holy Spirit as well. Yeah.
So, Jerry, I see you thinking, bro.
Self-control. I think for me, everything that I do, I relate it to things that are part of my everyday life. So whenever I'm trying to answer a question, I'm trying to think of something. My first go-to is my fitness lifestyle, because it's been something that has literally carried me through. Why are you looking at me like that? So fit. So I think self-control comes in line with discipline. Obviously, it's a muscle. I'm reading a book that is pretty much like emphasizing on habits, breaking habits, and also building habits. So it's like there's a few ways of getting around it. Most people think when you're building a habit, it's about starting to do the actual thing. But in most cases, it's more than just doing something. It's making it fun. So how self-control comes in, let's say if it's resisting a habit, resisting something, it's an urge. Like you mentioned, it's a desire. So self-control is literally going against something that you want to do or something that you desire.
Yeah, boss.
I'm gonna. Do you want to say something?
I think I've got something off the back of what Jerry said. You know, just out of like self-control relating to habits, and you find maybe if you're trying to do something different from what you've always done, or trying to get rid of something that you've been doing that you don't want to do. I think just the aspect of habits where it becomes more of like, you know, consistency that is needed. And oh my gosh, my mind just went blank.
That happens a lot. That happens a lot.
I've seen that happen.
About habits, right? And also another important thing, especially if you're trying to get rid of a bad habit or if you're trying to start something new, sometimes you might want to say, okay, I want to, you know, I'm a believer, I want to, you know, start praying more, or I want to start saving more. I guess a big part of gaining self-control is knowing your why, knowing why you wanna do what you wanna do, right? You know, because it could be something like giving, but someone might give because they want to see another person happy. Another person might give because they just want to show off, right? Yeah. So I guess knowing your why, I found personally has really helped me, you know, to have self-control and consistency in the things that I do.
Bars.
That's amazing.
You know what comes to my mind when I hear self-control? The little voice.
Yeah.
I think we all have a little voice in our head. I don't know. When I was younger, there was like these cartoons where it was like, you know, there's like a little angel on the left and then there's a little angel, a little like devil on the side, and it's like telling you to do two opposite things. But growing up, I realized that that little voice was myself. It was me speaking to myself from within myself. So self-control is being able to shut that voice down by yourself. It's like that voice, it's like trying to extinguish a fire that is within a fire. So
Trying to extinguish a fire within a fire. What do you mean?
like I'll be working out, right? I'll be working out, and I'm working out, and I reach a point whereby lactic acid starts speeding up in my muscles, and that little voice is telling me like, bro, like just drop the bar, just drop the bar.
Oh, yeah.
My body can do more. My body can push on, and my body can keep doing it. So the self-control is me actually like extinguishing that fire that is within me. So it's like I'm extinguishing the fire that is within the fire. That's what I think.
I can so relate, man. Try dropping the bar.
Dropping the bar. Just
but you can push on, and that is what self-control is.
But you feel like more achieved after you've pushed on as well.
I know.
Yeah.
And then you push that I think we've spoken about this in the previous, but you push that like to another level, and then now the voice goes, it's like the voice just moves away to another place where you have to like speak, which is why words are really powerful, like what you're speaking, because you can literally like rebuke some minds,
So is self-control is self-control pretty much like a discipline? Because for me in my head, when I hear self-control, it's like habit breaking. So let's say if I'm an addict, right, of something, self-control is me trying not to like be more inclined to do that habit. Is it the same? Because that's my only way I was seeing self-control. It's only to do with bad things.
The way I view
the good things as well.
I was just gonna say like it can be habit breaking, but it could also be like stopping habits from forming. So it's like catching the thought at the root before it becomes an action. Because like every thought you think becomes an action. Yeah. So if I'm sitting here right now thinking, damn, I want to go to the gym, and then I say, oh, but I'm not going to. I need to catch it then and say, why am I not gonna go?
So how is that self-control?
Because I'm like, if I've committed to something and I'm saying I want to be able to do this continuously, and then I'm gonna stop myself from doing it just because of the sake of it. Or like I'm finding excuses to not do something, because I feel like self-control is always like stopping yourself from doing something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah. Yeah. It's like
control yourself.
Yeah, controlling.
Control yourself.
Where like you can be controlling yourself to do bad things as well. And you need to stop. Like such a weird thing to try to explain.
Yeah.
You need to like stop yourself from stopping yourself.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it becomes harder to break when it becomes a habit in the first place.
True.
Because like if you catch yourself in the, like for example, like with the whole gym situation, if I make a routine that like there's no way I can excuse myself from going to the gym like minimum 3 times a week, then I'm going to be building my body. But if I constantly fill my life with like busy things and all that kind of stuff, then it's like how do I expect to achieve my gym goals when I'm not putting into the work? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
it's like if I continuously do something, then it prevents me from having excuses in the first place. It's the same with like drugs. If I continuously give in to the thought of like, oh yeah, I'm just going to try it. Oh, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. Then I develop a habit instead of like, oh, let me try it. Oh, I know this is bad. Let me stop doing it. Let me stop doing it. Let me stop doing it. From the time that you start, then you don't develop the habit in the first place. But that takes self-control as well with peer pressure and all that kind of stuff.
Also like moving yourself out of the situation, like what you're saying with drugs. If I expect myself to stop doing drugs, but I'm going out to a party where there's drugs every week, am I going to stop?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like you first have to stop yourself from going there. That's one level of self-control.
Abstinence, yeah.
By moving yourself away from it, you're now not as tempted to do it.
So, Ru, have you stopped doing drugs?
Yeah, of course I stopped. Never started, yeah.
I see how the chemistry is.
Ask him
like,
back.
But I was going to add something to what Jerry said. So Jerry said that when you think about self-control, you think about getting away from something that is negative, right? And I was just thinking about something. I wrote it down. Psychologists agree that human survival is driven by pain and pleasure. So we're either driven by either acquiring, like for example, behaviors are either because of someone wanting to acquire something or someone wanting to ignore or get rid of something. So self-control is the ability to shut that down, shut that innate desire for either avoiding pain or seeking pleasure.
So it's a give or take situation.
Give or take. What do I mean? Okay. You want to, evolutionarily, if we eat food, then we can store up more carbs, which we can survive when there's like famine or whatever.
Yeah.
So self-control then is now there's so much food available that if I eat it, I might get obese, so I might have all these health problems. But self-control is actually resisting that
pleasure.
Self-control is being married and resisting temptation. I'm not married though. I just think it would be self-control. Being married and actually like resisting temptation and like being faithful to one partner.
All right, so let's get
So
down.
that is really, let's get down to it. Let's go.
Let's get down to it. So what's practical ways of actually building the capacity to have self-control? So while I'm buying your time to think about it, let me share about my experience. So I remember, I think back before I started actually being in the gym and everything, I used to binge eat a lot. So I think when I started getting into the gym, obviously they'll tell you need to eat to grow, you know what I mean? So for me, I used to dirty bulk eat everything. So my mom used to complain like, yeah, you're finishing the food. And I'm like, you know what I mean?
So true.
So my mind became wired to eat, just junk eat everything, you know what I mean? So one way I practiced self-control or developed the muscle to have self-control is out of sight, out of mind. So I wouldn't shop for anything that I know is like not good for me. So sugary stuff, liquor, not that I drink or anything, but I'm just giving examples. And I would have, even like right now in my kitchen, I want to start eating lemons. So now I get so many lemons and I put them where I literally see them. When I walk in the kitchen, it's the first thing I see. I'm going to eat the lemon as opposed to having sugary snacks. So that's one practical way for me.
I was going to add to that and say it's not about eating, it's about what you eat.
Yes.
My drop.
Health diet specialist in the room.
So can I ask a question then? So let's say like you go to a house and there all the food is there. Are you gonna be able to stop yourself because it's in front of you? Like,
I'd say because I've developed the muscle, I have more strength to resist as opposed to if I'm exposed to it. So it's like if I'm always in a space where that weakness of mine isn't present, I have more resistance. Does that
So
make sense?
while you were developing the muscle, were you just not going anywhere?
So by muscle, I don't mean muscle.
Okay,
muscle.
no. Obviously not
Yeah.
muscle, but while you were developing the whole habit of taking control and ownership over what you desire to eat, were you not going anywhere?
I was going places, but because 90% of my time I'll be home.
Oh, okay.
So the more likely that I'm around that space, when I go out, it's not a big issue. Whereas if it's like I walk in, there's sugary stuff, there's alcohol everywhere, I'm more inclined to do it. What more when I go out? It will be like, you know what I
Environment
mean?
shapes behavior.
Yeah, so it's all
Have I
like
answered your question?
yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, do you think you would have ever been able to stop if, like, you hadn't removed yourself from the situation? Like, do you think you could have just, like, looked at it and said, no? I told myself no, so no.
That's self-control. I don't think there's ever, like, even addictions, even scientists, I've been reading a book that researches and shows and proves that when you have an addiction, it doesn't completely, people who are the most self-disciplined aren't the most, it's not that they have the most strength, it's just that they have understood the science behind not seeing it, making it easier for you not to have to do it. I don't know if that makes sense.
So what you're saying is if you want to get rid of, like, if you want to gain self-control from something, it's to out of sight, out of mind it? Or, like, to force yourself out of a situation where...
That increases your capacity to withstand. It increases, it doesn't make you the strongest. But let's say if your weakness was something in regards to food, if let's say the more you spend your time away from whatever your weakness is, the more likely you are to resist it when you go out, as opposed to having it in your default settings.
Yeah, I reckon it's sort of like you're building the habit of being away from that sort of food because I guess, science and Inez will be able to even correct me if I'm wrong, that 21 days to form a habit thing, right? So if you're trying to avoid sugary foods, fast foods, you train yourself to be away from such food. And when you start hitting past those 21 days, you have built that habit. And even when you've gotten into an environment where, which is loaded with that stuff that you're trying to get rid of, you have built the habit of not having it. So I suppose that's what you might be trying to bring out.
Yeah, that's why we're brothers, so we get each other.
Can we make it personal though? Can we make it personal?
I can read people's minds, by the way.
I'm sure.
Can we make it personal? What are some things that we've either had issues with having self-control of, or that we're currently having issues with having self-control? Because we can talk about this, talk about what self-control is, what it means, what philosophy says, whatever. But
Practically speaking.
but how does this become relatable? Like, how does this fit into the broader picture? I'll start with you, bro, because you're giving me the eyes.
I just did share my...
But binge eating?
Yeah, that's an
I
example.
think
What else?
like in terms of like with what you were saying with the food, like I was gonna say before you asked the question, something that my brother told me because he was going through this whole gym journey, like weight loss kind of journey as well, because obviously he wanted to lose weight. And he like always like talks to me when he's going through certain things, and he was like, the one thing that he learned from that whole journey that he was going through is that if you develop habits of saying no in your life, then it makes it easier for you to do it. So for example, he's like, oh, I wanted to go to the gym, but it's like sometimes I wouldn't have the motivation to go to the gym. So then he would say no to himself in increments. So he'd be like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. He'd be like, okay, no, like, and he would convince himself like, you don't have to like work out, just walk into the gym. Like just walk into the gym. And then he walks into the gym, everyone looks at him, it's like, oh, now I'm gonna look stupid if I don't work out. So like, just do one workout. Oh, I've done one workout. Okay. I might as well do three.
Might as well
Right?
just
Like,
go through the
okay,
day.
I might as well do my whole workout. Like, you know what I mean? And you have a reward system that way. I think when it comes to self-control, sometimes it's not necessarily about denouncing the bigger thing, but it's narrowing it down to a smaller issue. It's saying, look, this is my bigger goal, but what are the practical steps that I can take to achieving that goal? So like with the whole like out of sight, out of mind thing, I feel like with some things you can't do that. Or like
That's
in my
very
life
true.
personally, in some things,
What if it's a person?
like with, yeah,
That's
like,
true.
okay, I don't have
Yeah,
problems cutting
sorry.
people off certain, sometimes, right? I can't cut off my mom, but it's like sometimes I don't have a problem distancing myself away from people. But for me personally, it's like I have a problem with my phone. Like if my phone is not with me, sometimes I just feel a little bit, I start
Twitching.
twitching,
That's
I'm like,
addiction.
I'm like, where's it? Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's
Dopamine,
addiction.
literally, like, yeah.
And it's like, if I'm not like, I thought it was social media, right? But I did this whole thing where I was like, oh, let me do a fast, let me do social media fast. I wasn't on social media, and now it's like I don't have the desire like as deeply as I had it before to go on social media, but I'm still on my phone a lot. So I'm like, obviously it's not talking to people, it's not social media, it's just the phone itself. So I feel like with the out of sight, out of mind thing, I can't do that because I need my phone for work, and I work every day. And it's like, if I don't have and so it's like, okay, I wake up in the morning, work starts at 7, let me go. Take my phone, I'm doing work
It's the
in my
first
break.
thing you look for, eh?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm reaching for it. So I think with that one, it's like, how do I have practical things in my life to distract me from my phone? So it's like, okay, I know that I can't watch a movie at home without having my phone in my hand. So then let me knit instead. Oh, my phone's there, but it's like my hands are doing something else. I'm not on my phone. Or it's like, okay, I know I have to have my phone when I'm cleaning. Let me just put it there, and then I'll play music instead. So it's like, I know my phone is in proximity, but I'm just not touching it. So I think like when it comes to self-control in my life personally, having small things to kind of practically like narrow the situation down to say, Tamika, be real with yourself. Like, you can't jump from point A to point 12. Let's just start with one step at a time type of situation, and have realistic, very small, achievable goals. Because you always feel happy when you achieve something. You're like, oh my gosh, I did it. So when you achieve something really small, you kind of trick yourself into like, oh my gosh, yeah, let me do some more.
Little wins.
Yeah, little wins, you know?
Domino effect.
So,
That's what they do for the sijara smokers.
yeah, see, that is
Like when you're smoking sijaras,
What's sijada? Sorry.
cigarettes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Status.
Yeah.
Sijadas.
New word.
Is it an English word or something?
I don't know. I just say sijara instead of cigarette.
Sijaras.
Yeah.
Sijaras.
Pass me a sijara.
It sounds so cool,
Sounds
man.
really
It's
cool.
not even that serious, guys.
Cuban.
Because like I used to work in the pharmacy, so when someone needed to get off like smoking, especially if they're old, because they've been smoking their whole life and they're now addicted, you give them like a dose of tobacco and a chewing gum so that they get out of the habit of smoking, and now they're just chewing the tobacco into their body.
Yeah.
And then you start lowering it. So it's like, okay, they're doing 20 milligrams today, tomorrow they're doing 15, and then in the next week they're gonna do 5. And then before they know it, it's like, okay, I can handle without being in my system, without it being in my system. Because like some people genuinely, if they stop smoking cigaras immediately, they're gonna start itching. Like same thing with like the people who smoke meth and stuff.
Withdrawals.
Yeah, like
Oh,
withdrawals
yeah.
are crazy, and people start acting like a madness. Have you seen people like when they lose their vapes?
Yeah.
Shivering, shaking,
Yeah.
stressed, sweating.
So it's like some situations you do have to go like step 1, step 1.5, then step 2. Okay, maybe like let's go back to step 1.5, back to step 2. Like you can't just jump from 1 to 12.
I think even seeking help, hey, because like one thing that has helped me if I'm really struggling with anything, just literally seeking help, talking about it, making it practical. Obviously, sometimes, let's say if I ask, sometimes Nez isn't the best of friends, because if I come to him with a problem, he'll be like, but Jared, just be strong, yeah, man, you know what I mean? Or something.
Just be serious.
Just be serious, you know what I mean? I'm not calling shots, but I'm just saying that these are real life situations. You get friends, family who literally shut down or demean or whatever it is you're going through. But my concern now is I'm passing the ball back to Nez. Like, when we get to real life, obviously, everyone has their own Goliath that they are going against. So if you get challenges like self-control in regards to things like addictions, pornography, if you look at things like women and men, they may feel like urges where it's like, I can't be in a room where a girl's wearing a short skirt, or girls like, if this guy is wearing a vest,
I need
like,
to consecrate myself.
you know what I mean?
Yo.
So like, I'm just putting it out there because I feel like these are literally things, these are elephants in the room that's like no one is gonna talk about, but like I'm bringing it out here.
Bring it out. Now, I think even hold that thought, like I think just something that Tamika mentioned, you know, strong thought. The way you mentioned, like, you know, you try to get rid of your phone and it's like, oh, let me just knit instead. And the thing that came to my head was like, you know, sometimes you want to fill the gap, right? So it reminded me of like this story in the Bible that Jesus tells about some guy who had demons and stuff. He was possessed.
Ish.
They took them out. I'm not saying anyone here.
No. I just remember the story. I'm like, the Legion, and then they come back.
Not Legion. So the demons get out, right? And then what happened is like the demons get out and they don't find
a
another
place,
body,
yeah.
and then they'll come back because there's a gap. So
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, this place is cleaned up. It's nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
neat, you know?
But it's like, it's not only that, they'll go get their homeboys and they'll come and
Yeah,
move back
come
into the
back,
house.
come back.
So now you end up worse than you were before.
the addiction, yeah. So it's why, like, you know, you'd be like, someone, you know, got off something, you know, but then they end up going back and they're worse than before, right? So that just made me start thinking, like, you know, sometimes it's good to fill the gap, right? Like, you know, if you're trying to get rid of something, it could be maybe even unproductive habits, like, you know, if you're, you know, drugs or alcohol, whatever, you know, you try and fill up your time. You're like, okay, I'm off this stuff. Maybe let me find something else to do. Maybe it could be knitting, or it could be, you know, working out. Should I get a job or something like that? You know, or you know, you're trying to get rid of pornography or whatever. You know, you find something else, something else that's more productive, something else that's closer towards your goal, what you want.
I feel like even before that though, like when you were talking about all these issues, like very real issues like lust, pornography, drugs, alcohol, like all of these very real issues that people have, the first step is like acknowledging that you have this issue in the first place. Because I feel like sometimes it's easy to just be like, no, I'm not struggling with that. That's not me.
Do you know what I learned just on the same thing? I learned that if you can't, like, how you know if you're addicted to something is by trying to stop it. And I was like, Because like I realized I was addicted to the gym. This will sound very funny, but like that's literally all I would do. Because for me, it became a safety net. But trying to stop something can tell you whether or not it's an addiction.
But like even before you try to stop it, it's like maybe a thought might pass like, oh, I'm addicted to the gym, and you're like, no, I'm not. Like the gym is good for you. You release endorphins. I'm going there. I'm getting fit. Like, why is that a bad thing? So I'm just gonna go anyway. You know what I mean? There's that cycle that, because as humans, I firmly believe as humans, we always want to be right. So like me, Tamika, I'm always gonna want to be right. Sometimes I fight myself in my own head, and I'm like, you're fighting yourself.
Bias.
Like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because like it's a whole battle between like the flesh and the spirit. But like we're always gonna want to be right. So because of that, we're never gonna want to admit when we're faulting. So it's like, oh, I might be addicted to pornography, but no, I'm not. I don't watch it that often. I don't, you know, like what? I don't do it. Other people, they're like, why is that a bad thing? Like, it's not affecting anyone, so it's not even a bad thing. Like, I shouldn't even. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm always gonna find excuses to say I'm not addicted to something. So even before you take advice, you go seek someone. Even before you replace it with something else, it's like you actually need to sit down with yourself and be like, no, this is me. Like, I'm the problem. Is it me,
Also,
Jesus?
like admitting something to someone, like the sense of shame is good for you. Like if you genuinely think you have an addiction, if I say I'm addicted to pornography, if I know that and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to go admit it to Tamika because now that's my accountability. She's now going to have to legally check up on me as my friend to say, are you still doing that? No, yes, you are. And I feel shame. So shame in that sense is good because it's like, cool. I have admitted that I have a problem. If I can't fix it myself, I'm going to feel shame about it because she's going to keep reminding me that I told her I would fix it. Like, you know?
Accountability.
Do you remember there's a video of a pastor who was like, oh, I know what you
You're a
did.
bad boy."
You're a bad boy. Imagine
Those African pastors.
imagine going to church and your pastor's like, I know what you did. And you're just like, man, really?
How you gonna call me out like that?
I know. When you mentioned about being on the phone, right, and being addicted to being on the phone, I recently watched this video where someone was just saying, you know, like, oh, you know, what's the fruit that Adam and Eve ate? And people believe it's an apple, right? There's no evidence saying it's an apple. And then they were like, what's the sign behind your phone? Like the symbol is kind of like, you know, the apple that's been bit off, right? And wait, and they're like, what symbol do you do when you're on your phone? What symbol? Your phone's in your hands like this.
Yeah.
You're literally praying to your phone every time you're on your phone. But now I want to flip it. I'm going to flip it today, right? And I just wanted to remind us that, like, how our brain works, because I love science and I'm a scientist. And every time you do something that you enjoy, it's like your brain fires neurotransmitters like dopamine, right? So every time you do something that you enjoy, it fires this, it fires this. The more times you do it, the thicker those neural connections become. Hence why it's hard to stop a habit that you're doing. And then something else that, like, a wise person once taught me is, like, actions are benign. An action is just an action. It is an action. But that action becomes a habit that you do frequently. Oh, like she was saying, I just did it on weekends. I just did it on whatever. That habit then becomes the person. It then becomes you. Oh, but it's me, but I do this. Every time I come back from work, I take a glass of wine because that's what I do. That person then becomes the character. It becomes who you are. Like, it's internalized. It's your value system. And alcohol becomes one of them. And that's why it comes back to what you said, like breaking things down and starting from those small steps. Like, if you're on your phone all the time, which I think I am as well to an extent, it means that you've got like a that's how I think of it. Like, for myself, it's like I've got neural pathways that are really thick. It's like every time you do something, a train passes through the rail tracks, right? And you feel good because there's dopamine. It's like, it's amazing. And we don't actually realize how addictive, like, Instagram is meant to actually keep you there. Like, I read a study that said that most of these, like, social platforms actually, like, employ, like, scientists and psychologists to study how to make you hook to your phone. That's how logarithms work, right? So every time you like something, they're gonna show you exactly what you're gonna like. The next thing comes up, the next memes, and that's why I hate TikTok, because TikTok plays on that loop of how you're addicted. They're like 3-minute videos which are messing up with your attention span. People these days can't engage in a conversation like this for more than 5 minutes because our attention span is being limited. And then we're doing this, and it becomes addictive. Like, I speak to so many people that are like, oh yeah, I was just on my TikTok. Like, it's like a thing to go on your TikTok. So a way of countering that is to associate that habit with something else. So every time I go on my phone, I'm going to also have to do one push-up. So that's like you're associating.
You would be jacked by now.
Hey,
you would be jacked by now.
We're growing together. So I'm just saying, every time I touch my phone, because that's a neural pathway. So the more you do it, the more your brain will be like, oh, but then if I do this, it means I'm gonna have to do this. And over time, you get to alter your own behavior. So I'm just saying it from the brain point of view. Like, every time you do something you enjoy. So the bigger question is, what do you enjoy? What are you enjoying? Is it something that's healthy? Like she said, if you're going to the gym and it's good for your endorphins and you're getting like healthier, you fit, you feel confident, is that really a bad addiction to have? I'm just giving the other side of the story. But if every time you come back from the house, you have to drink or whatever, or you have to go watch pornography before going to bed, and that is compounding and making your character, then it's like, is that? So yeah, what neural pathways are you guys making?
Yeah, that's so deep.
Stuff.
That's so deep.
Mic drop.
Yeah,
Mic
that's
drop.
true.
I think just bringing it back to the table. So there's 2 practical things that we've mentioned. The first one was like out of sight, out of mind. The second one was what you mentioned, which was in regards to
Acknowledging things, like
acknowledging it,
being real with yourself.
and then also mentioning to a friend, like having an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Right? But then I'm thinking to myself, I don't know why, for me, this is like all coming back to habit formation, because self-control comes back to habits. For me, I strongly believe.
Yeah.
So if you're building I'll use habit a lot in this case because I'm doing a study on habit formation and breaking and everything. So if you're trying to break or build a habit, I lost my chain of track. So I'm trying to buy myself time.
Break or build a habit.
If you're trying to break or build a habit, would you say sometimes you need therapy?
Therapy in what sense?
Therapy is important. You need therapy
For
either way.
self-control, because let's say sometimes some things it comes down to like obviously having an accountability partner, but actually seeking professional help. Like, yo, I can't stop this, or I can't, like, whenever I see a woman, I just feel like, I can't help myself. Whenever I just see, like, I know one friend of mine who literally, if he sees a vape, that's it. If he sees a
He's gone.
he's gone. You know what I mean?
Squad.
So
Cloud
certain
nine.
things like, do you think like also therapy, Ru, what do you think? Do you think therapy is something that could also...
I feel like it
Assist?
depends on what your habit is. Because there's some habits where it's like you're saying, I feel like I'm addicted to the gym, right? I feel like therapy is not necessarily required if you feel like you're going to the gym too much, but it may be in the sense of why you go to the gym too much. So I feel like your reasoning for the habit that you formed is what would probably send you to therapy. So it's like, hey, I'm addicted to going on my phone. What's the reason for that? Is that because I grew up alone, so that's all I have? And like that's guaranteed someone is always going to be messaging me there? Or is it like, hey, I go to the gym because I didn't like how my body looked, so I'm trying to make sure I'm always happy with myself? You know, so it's like the reasoning behind your habit determines whether if or not you need therapy, but some habits don't require therapy.
But then
Yeah, I
therapy.
totally agree.
Yeah.
I agree that it would depend on what you're looking at, right? But I guess the number one therapy that I've found from my experience, my life, God, Jesus, right? Like,
It's amazing.
sometimes, I just like, if there's an issue, I'm just like, let me, bring this to God. Like, I'm like, God, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling, with, keeping up with this really annoying person at work. I have to control myself. I'm struggling with my smokes, with nicotine. And above all, I believe God has the power, to work in us. He says his power works in us to do the right things, right? And then now going beyond that into the practical now, certain things you may need professional help. If you're obese, right, you need to start losing weight quick. You'll be saying your prayers and whatever, but the Bible says faith without action is dead, right? So now you need to get into saying, okay, I need professional help, I need dietitians, I need physical trainers to help me out, right? If you want to be an athlete, if you're trying to get fit on your own, you go to the gym. But if you want to be an athlete, you may need a coach, you may need a personal trainer, someone to get you where you want to be. So you're looking at how the extent of your situation, if it's an addiction, and also like how fast do you want to break it. And there's always room for the power of God in our lives to just add some sauce, and just kick things.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Tamika did say that you first have to figure out why the whys behind. Sorry, Ru, that was Ru. The whys behind what's happening, right? And she did say that, and then therapy. But then I was gonna add, and then you go to therapy after you figure out why you're doing the habit, right? But then I disagree with that, respectfully, because therapy actually helps you unpack that. So you could go to a therapist, and it's like they help you unpack whatever it is. So if you're addicted with and also I think there's levels to addiction. Like if you're addicted to the gym and you don't go to work, so I think you may be right. Like if you're addicted to the gym, you don't go to work, you can't be productive, you can't think of anything else because you want to work out, then that becomes a psychological problem. And then they would still help you unpack, like, okay, so why is this happening? Why do you think this is happening? Like a psychologist is just there to listen, which is why Jesus can be your psychologist. Your friend can be your psychologist. Like they're just there to listen to you and they help you unpack by asking you questions. So
wait, what is an addiction? It's because the way you brought it to wording to say if you can't live with it, you didn't say this, but in my head when you're talking, an addiction is probably something that you can't do without, right?
Or something you
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable being without.
Or repeated
Something you
habit.
can't stop doing. That
So
you have
there's
to always
levels
go
to habits.
I'm lost.
There's levels
Levels to addiction.
There's levels to this.
There's levels to addiction.
Levels to this.
Right, someone addicted to cocaine is looking at someone addicted to like cigarettes. What do you call them?
Sijara.
Sujadas. He's like, bro, there's levels to this. You're addicted to cigarettes. Like, I'm doing the big things.
No,
That'll be
because
funny.
I mean, like, I can say I'm addicted to, like, the way you put it
Yeah.
with the gym. Like, if I'm not in the gym, I'm like,
Can't do
But
it.
if it's something that I do repetitively, but I can do without, does it make it an addiction?
That's a habit. It's not an addiction. I think that addiction has a negative connotation to it as well.
So let's say I'm a producer. I do music. I'm a rapper. I take drugs every day, but with or without the drugs, I can still produce a fire song. Is it an addiction?
That's
What?
drug use.
Why
That's
do you think
recreational
that?
drug
Okay,
use.
that's
Every day.
using
You know?
drugs,
Maybe I just
but
like
you're not-
it.
You're not
That's the-
addicted.
Well, then stop.
But remember what we said, right? That's an action. So you doing so every time you do something that you enjoy, you fire neurons, right? That's just an action. That action becomes a habit, right? So
Yeah.
the habit is then, every time I'm in the studio, I have to do this. It's just for fun. That habit then becomes you, the person, the character. Then that becomes an addiction. Now you can't do without it. Now you can't do a song unless you're high.
But
What's
Jerry's
funny,
saying
Tamika?
someone.
What's Tamika laughing
It's just the example, bro. It's like you literally explained addiction and then you're like, is it wrong? No, but okay. In my head, like I understand what you're trying to say anyway, but like in my head, like what you've already answered your own question before. You said that you find out it's an addiction if you try to stay without it. And you realize you can't. That's why I'm saying it's something that you feel uncomfortable without. I can live without my phone. Let's be real.
Because there's
So can you be addicted to a girl?
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One.
there's
Obsessed with the
there's
person.
habits
Yeah.
and there's addictions. Because addictions, that's what I'm trying to understand. There's something that you do repetitively, which is a habit. So a habit can be an addiction.
Yeah, it can become an addiction.
Yeah.
Because if you, like for example, right? If I wake up every day and I have routine habits,
You can't say I'm addicted. to
I'm
waking up every day.
addicted to waking up. No, if I wake up every day, right? Routine habits. I wake up, I make my bed, I go shower, I come back, I dress, I sit in front of the window with my cup of coffee, and then I go to work.
Do you actually
right?
do that or just
Who-
scabs?
Yes.
No, I'm just
Okay, I was
She
gonna say.
does.
be so serious.
Yeah, not every single day.
Sometimes, anyway,
Expose.
I'm not about to expose myself. Anyway, that's a habit, right? It's not a bad thing.
Okay.
But then when you wake up, and then you wake up a little bit too late, and you can't drink your coffee in front of the window, and you feel uncomfortable, that's when it becomes an addiction.
Wait, but right? Okay, let's say me, I'm like, yeah, gym. Gym is so good. I miss one day. Maybe I'm like, damn.
No, the feeling of like, oh, I should have gone to the gym, opposed to, oh my gosh, I feel anxious that I haven't been to the gym today, is different.
Yeah.
The feeling of like, oh, I have a body goal. Oh, I'm supposed to go to the gym today. I know I'm supposed to, but I missed out. Is different to. I didn't go to the gym today.
Okay, but
No, I feel like you're
that's just
associating it so much with drugs. Like,
Okay, no, I'm not associating
No,
it
it
with
could be.
drugs.
Anything is a
with
drug,
the
bruh.
gym, with the gym example as well. It's like if I feel anxious without it, it's an addiction. If sitting in front of a window drinking coffee, I can drink coffee in the car. That's fine. I don't mind. It's not an addiction. But when I feel anxious without something, that's when it becomes an addiction.
I feel like
In my
it
head.
depends on how you react to certain situations, though, isn't it? Because some people don't get anxious over things like that. Like, okay, wait, bad example, bad word phrasing. Guys, okay, English is not my first language.
Cigaras.
Speaking
Too many
of
cigaras.
Cigara.
Cigaras.
English is also not
even. Cigara.
People saying someone's name or something.
I feel like, okay, running it back to the gym example, if I don't go to the gym, I'm going to be like, dang, I didn't go to the gym today. Now I'm behind one day, a little bit itch, and I move on. But that's just because I'm not getting anxious about that.
Yep.
But there's other things I would get anxious about, but doesn't mean it's like I'm addicted to it.
Like, for example, it's like with the whole weight loss thing. If I'm going to the gym for weight loss and then I miss one day, now I'm anxious that I'm going to be gaining weight.
Yeah. Okay, I think
Am
going
I sensing?
Well, I think we're bouncing around a lot. I think
Okay.
going back to definition, right? Let me not go back to the beginning of the podcast. But yeah, I guess just defining it. Usually the word addiction is associated with a negative thing. So You could be going to the gym every day. It's good for your body. You could be smoking weed every day. You know,
It's good for your body.
Yeah, I was ready for that. I was expecting that.
I'm not asking her about that, but yeah. But yeah. 3 leaves. Anyway, yeah, so usually addiction is used with like a negative thing, and then habit is usually used with a positive thing. But there's good habits, bad habits.
So is there good addictions and bad addictions?
You can phrase it that way. You can say it that way, but think about the impact that it has on you. So okay, if you're going to the gym, always think about the gym, and you can't do anything else. You know, you can't think about your family, you can't think about work, you can't think about, anything else but the gym. Like, okay, that's an addiction. But if you're going to the gym every day, it's helping you build up your body, and it helps builds up your mind, right? I think it's like a good habit, right? So I also considering like the impact that it has on you might be.
Yeah. I was just going to say addiction is the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance or activity, right? The synonyms are pretty much dependency, dependent, craving, habit, weakness, compulsion, and the list goes on. Fixation, enslavement. Addiction is enslavement. And enslavement, that's actually a massive one. Like, Monkey, John's, devotion, dedication. Like, you can be enslaved to things. You did say something, Jerry. You did say, it's like, it's not a drug. You're kind of making it look like a drug, but it's not a drug. I think metaphorically speaking, everything is a drug. And that's gonna
the biology.
That's gonna come off like weird and whatever. But
yeah.
What are the two most things why people do what they do? Obviously, the foundation is survival. We want to survive, right? But one of the things is like pleasure. Either wants to feel good. When I eat Macca's, I feel good. When I eat KFC, the chicken is amazing.
Bro, every podcast you talk about Macca's, like, let's talk about it. Are you trying to, like, is this sponsored
I
or
love
anything?
Macca's. I'm not gonna. I like that. Look, pleasure, and the other thing is avoiding pain. So we want to avoid pain, and that's why people do things to avoid something, right?
Yeah.
Or to acquire something. But the fundamental reasons why behavior exists, right? So, what was I going with my train of thought? So every time, like, just by your brain, how your brain works, every time you do something, it's like you're firing dopamine. And it's like that becomes thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker up until a point that it's like you can't ignore it. And how your body works is we forget that we are animals. We are mammals fundamentally. So if every time I do something, my brain has like a chemical reaction to what I'm doing, then the more times like I'll get to a point where I need to do that thing because it's autonomous. I can still do it even without me looking. And that's how come when you go to a job, the first time when you're trying to figure out your job, it's hard. But the more you do it, the more you can just start doing it. Because you've built that, It's the muscle in itself. So I love how Jerry said muscle.
Yeah.
So what muscles are you building,
Running it back then, you were saying, like, or you asked, do you think it's possible to get addicted to a girl? And then when we said yes, you looked shocked.
Like
experience.
I think it is. No. Let me say this. I've told this to one of my friends before. I don't think it's... Sometimes maybe you can get addicted to the girl, but the girl comes with something. So it's what the girl comes with. So you're getting addicted to the attention. You're getting addicted to the cuddles, the hugs. You're getting addicted to all of that. So it can be potent. It can be packaged in a different way. So if someone else, I've always had this conversation with fellow gents who would ask me like, bro, I don't know if I like her. I don't know if I'm in love. I'm like, if the same things came to you through a different person, would you still want the same person? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but so what about stalkers? Because
stalkers.
That's another.
Sounds like you've been stalked,
Yeah. Who's stalking you? I'm gonna beat him up.
I actually did have a stalker.
Really?
But what is the point of a stalker? Like, you're not getting anything from this person.
I think it's obsession. It's obsession. That's more of a mental thing, I would say.
It's a habit, stalking.
That's the thing.
What do you do for fun?
I think it's a mental thing. That's literally a mental thing.
But it's also a habit.
It's criminal as well. It's criminal,
Yeah.
But you know what? I feel like with the stalker thing, that's more mental. But I feel like what you said was true with the whole definition that you have. Like, when it comes to, you can't have a good addiction and you can't have a bad habit. Oh, wait, you can have a bad habit. Sorry, wait. You just can't have a good addiction.
Yeah.
Because the addiction is trying to, like you associate that thing with a particular thing that you think you need. Does that make sense? So it's like, for example, with the relationship, it's like validation. That's why I'm with you, because you give me that validation. So it's like whatever you do, because you give me, as long as you give me that validation, I'm gonna stay with you. That makes sense.
But anything else can give you validation.
Yeah. So it's like
if
all of a sudden I realize, for example, like I've heard of people where they're in like very bad relationships, and then one guy does something that's so bare minimum, they think they're in love. Because, for example, they're in bad relationships. This guy will come, will
Get you a flower.
Tie her shoelaces.
Bro,
will tie her shoelaces, right? After she drove, she paid for everything. She's even paying his rent.
She picked him up.
Yeah, she picked him up. He will tie her shoelaces once. She's like, no one's ever done this for me. It must be love. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're acquiring something that you've never gotten somewhere else. So now you associate that person with the thing that you think that you need.
Yeah.
All of that stuff you described is coming out as Proverbs 31 woman. Do you know where I could find her? Because I've been searching. I want a lady who can tie my... I want a lady who can tie my...
Run away. Run away.
I don't think she exists. Proverbs 31.
Bro.
Okay, but
I just haven't found her.
just say that one more time. Proverbs
God's still
31,
making her.
do you know how the standards are on Proverbs 31?
That's my standard. Like, if she doesn't tie my shoelaces, I don't want it. No, I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding.
I want someone to talk about me like Solomon did.
Bro, Solomon is really like vivid. That's like it's
Relationship
very
goals, eh?
yeah.
But then again, he had 1,000 shorties. But
Yeah, Solomon's a different guy.
So choose. I think you have to choose your poison because everything comes with...
Everything has a price.
Yeah, it comes with a price.
You know, everything.
It's like this guy will, he'll do
trade-off.
everything for you. But
He's got
What? So
choosing
girls say, just to slide off, girls say, oh, I want a billionaire or whatever. And it's like, bro, if he's a billionaire, then he has to be doing activities that sustain him being a billionaire, which means he won't be home all the time. And he's going to be a high value man, which means many women are attracted to him. So it's like, if you want a guy that's really successful, then that's the price. Everything has a price.
okay, no, but if we're looking at it from a biblical
habits have a
standard, it
price.
doesn't say in the Bible that women need billionaires.
I was giving an
But
example
I'm
based on
talking
what
about
I've
like
heard.
when it comes to like realistic goals.
Yeah.
It's not just about soft life. When it's about realistic goals, I don't think that you should be compromising like that.
okay, now let
What
me
do you
ask
mean women don't like billionaires though? There's one sitting right next to you.
Yeah,
A billionaire. Nah, sorry.
Where
there's two. There's 3 billionaires in the room.
There's 3 billionaires in the room.
guys,
Yeah, I got it.
Do you have your glasses, ma'am? There you go. Okay, let me ask you these questions. This is for the ladies right now, right? So, would you rather have a man? I see
Not
you
these
agree.
would you
I already
rather questions.
it's No, it's just a general question because everyone can choose a different poison. So I'm just from
We
your
all are choosing
experience,
poisons.
We're all choosing poisons. So would you rather have, let's say, a man who's like financially stable, everything, everything shaking you on a yacht, everything kind of life. But this gets to the interesting part.
You're the third one.
But let's say like he has
Apparently.
like,
He has
you know,
habits.
your one red flag,
Bad habits.
whatever your red flag is, let's say if some girls can tolerate cheating, some can't. So let's say
That's
your
number
one
one
red
policy,
flag,
bro.
No. I know. I've actually met people who are like, for me, like if he cheats and at least he tells me like that I can, there's people who have that. So you choose your poison.
But
Then
many
there's
people
some
have an unhealthy view of relationships and love. For
That's why
example.
I'm
So if-
saying for the ladies, for your red flag, whatever it is, you don't
It's a
have
list.
yeah, I'm so sorry.
just
I
one major.
think cheating is big poison, man.
Yeah, right?
Okay, but he
Bro,
cheats.
That's number one
Look,
policy.
at
If anyone cheats,
look,
it's done.
at the end of the day,
Wait, you didn't even finish answering.
oh yeah, what's the other alternative? Sorry, my bad. Or he's broke.
Or he does everything. He's a sweetheart, he ties
But he's
his
broke, he's got no
shoelaces.
job.
Broken faith.
But he's got hustle in him, you can say, if I support this guy, he can, you know what I mean? Or if we support each other, there's life to it. Which would you rather?
Okay, look, if I'm being honest, like
Please be honest.
being comfortable is all right, right? Like it's something that I don't think it's a bad thing for you to want. But also like for me, the character of a person I value more than whatever monetary value they can bring to my life. If this man is an emoji, man of God, actually pursuing a deep relationship with God, has ambitions, has goals, is not just like doing whatever on the side of the road.
Garamoja.
Yeah, then
What did you say, sorry?
Garamoja.
What's that?
Garamoja, like
It's
I need your dictionary. I need literally all your words.
Some military
Like,
thing or something. Like,
Garamoja. Bro, that's an insult, man.
It's-
Someone goes like Garamoja.
You Garamoja.
man, do you remember Mr. Titus?
Oh, I think I remember it.
You do Karamoja.
But like, yeah, so I feel like when it comes to character and stuff, then it's about who they actually are as a person, opposed to like what they can give to me. Because me, I'm secure. I'm a woman.
I
of
got
God.
something to add to that though. Right, that's very lovely what you just said. But I got a question for you. If you introduce this guy to your family,
Yeah.
what's the first thing that your parents are what your family is gonna ask? What's one of the first things that the female's family ask when a guy is introduced?
My family's special, bro.
Yeah, man.
No,
I
but
can't lie to you. Like, if I bring someone to my family, it's different to like.
what's one what's one question they may ask that is usually asked when someone is introduced?
Do you love him?
Yeah.
Nah, what
Really?
does he? What does he do?
Okay.
What does
okay.
it do? That's the
Yeah.
biggest
Job.
question.
What
What's
does
the
he
job? They don't care about this guy. Oh, what do you do? Once you say, and what you say after that determines how you're perceived as a man. Would I be right in saying that?
My thing, yeah. Like, my parents are very much like, if you're bringing a man to us, you're ready to get married to him. So we need to make sure you actually love this guy.
Really?
Yeah, my parents
This is
literally, my mom said herself, like, don't bring a man unless you're ready to marry him because I don't want to meet 500 men.
And that's why I don't introduce females to my parents.
Yeah.
Because
And it makes sense.
I
And
can't
that's fair
introduce
enough.
everyone, you know?
Right?
You need to
So
respect
if
the
I'm
parents.
introducing a guy to my mom, I'm telling this woman, like, I don't even care what you say about him. This is going
Yeah.
to be my husband.
Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've already made my decision. I'm just showing you out of courtesy now.
So how does that tie into habits?
I don't know.
We went on tangent, man.
Like,
Like,
Jerry,
this was just an extra
pointing fingers.
I think Jerry wanted a therapy session. He's like, I'm gonna have it right now.
This whatever is in the
What
back of your
questions,
head.
bro? What questions have we've never actually had like female guests on the podcast. This is probably like, obviously I know we're probably going over time,
Yeah.
Quite a
but
bit.
the energy is just amazing. We might split it into like two, like part 1 and 2, like the previous
Yeah.
episode, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we can just touch on into a few things, right? So we've never actually had females on the podcast, and we've had a female, but now we're getting more like females. We're getting like a balanced diet, if I can call it that. No, balanced.
So who's the
Take it as a
carbohydrate? Nah, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry. A balanced panel, okay? But I was just gonna ask, what are some questions that gents that we have had for females that we would like to ask? And then females, is there any questions that you've ever had for the guys? Actually, just curious about like, why do guys do this? And then we could just have like a maybe 5-minute conversation on that, if you guys are open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Tamika was starting to explain something interesting. You're talking about
Garamoja.
Yeah, that's the
Can I
second
say?
interesting thing. Eh? Before going to Garamoja, you're mentioning something about like I think being comfortable is good and stuff. And then right before we went to the other point, I think you were starting to bring out something interesting. I don't know if you've still got that in your head.
You were saying that his character is more important to you at the end of the day
Yeah.
than his money.
Because it came from me asking the question which you'd rather, and then you were going on a streak to say, pretty much end up saying, you pretty much started with, oh no,
It's fine.
it's fine. Then I feel like you're going to end with, but he has to have money. So I just went to click that. That was what I'm waiting
I can't lie to you. Yeah. But if I had to choose between like a rich, what's the nice word? A belligerent man, opposed to like someone that's, I'll just choose to be like poor. I'll be single. What?
No, I was literally
Do you know
thinking
how
that.
hard it is to be
I
single?
said,
Do you know how hard it is? Let me not be the negative
No, I
person.
can't lie to you. It is hard to be single, especially when you're old.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's very
yeah.
hard to be single. I understand that, but at the end of the day, like, how much of yourself are you willing to compromise to not be single?
and would you enjoy
Fair
a
enough.
marriage
True.
with someone who doesn't like?
If that's the calling that God has placed on your heart, then
At the
I
end of
respect
the-
that, you know.
But let's say,
But I know that
That's
for me
definitely
in my
good
household,
someone.
I need my Proverbs 31.
Wait, so let me flip the question. Would you be happy to marry a woman who's like very, very bad character? Like character's so bad, but like in front of other people she's fine. Like she's
Absolutely
ticking
not.
all the other boxes. Like she's financially stable. You know that if you run broke, she's got your back. She pays for your haircuts.
No, I don't need.
For me, the moment you mention bad character, I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
I don't want that
My
sour
headphones
lemon
just
in
went
my house. I'm
off.
like, nah.
because it's
Yeah.
like when you go out, that's fine, but when you get back home, who's gonna make you that cup of tea? Who's gonna come rub your feet? Who's gonna talk to you like that?
I'm sorry.
You know what I
This
mean?
guy needs someone to take care of his pants.
Make it a cup of tea. Wait, shit, you'd rather like.
And that's why me and you are single, eh, bro? Standards high.
Speak for yourself. I'll show you I'm single.
So like you'd rather a woman who's like, you know, like she's got no job,
Yeah.
no real aspirations, she's just doing day by day, but you know, kind-hearted.
I feel like for guys it's different though. Like they don't really care about money from females.
Yeah, because they want to provide.
But girls care about money because you want the provider.
Yeah, I think one thing I heard and I've sort of kept learning is like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but girls want, you know, some security, some stability, right? You don't want to, you know, be somewhere like worrying about the bills, like, and, you know, worrying if you're going to have a house. You know, you get to a stage where you have kids, you're like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen to my kids, right? So having capacity, financial capacity helps with that.
Yeah, why would I leave my father's house to be on the streets?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's usually reasons why you love someone, right?
Yeah.
It's
But real love
something
has
that's
no reasons.
unconscious, but you find if you analyze it, you'd be like, okay, you know, this person is attractive, right? Or this person, you know, is really switched on, you know, they're really, you know, filled with goals. Or this person really makes me feel good about myself. You're like, oh yeah, that's actually why I love them. So usually it's not something we have to think about, but this, I think, from what I've seen with a lot of people, like there's usually a reason why.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
even with Prince Harry, Shorty gave him a way out of the kingdom.
I thought you were gonna say something else, but yeah.
What did you think? She
Yeah,
was
go
gonna say?
ahead. No, tell me, shy.
Nah, that's all good.
No, I really want to know. This is a like safe
Nah,
place.
that's calm. So, yeah, that's good.
Wait, do you guys have any questions for us?
Any questions?
I think a woman can be loved for herself. Like, I love you for who you are as a person.
But a guy can't.
But a guy, I think the way God designed it is, like, what is the best example of love? Is God himself. God himself is love, right? The way that love was designed, even from scripture, you know, love is patient, love is kind. It is not sick. I can't remember. Bro, I help my brother out.
Love is not selfish.
It's not selfish, like all these things, right? Like that's the value. But how the world has perverted what love is.
Yeah.
The devil, who like runs the systems on this earth, has perverted what that system is, because that is like a family is a union that is like fundamental to the whole body of Christ, the church, and that's one thing that the devil is like actively trying to destroy.
Yeah.
So the value, like the definition of love itself has been altered. It's not what it's meant to be. So now guys are judged by, women are judged by their appearance, by how they look, by like how long the extension is, or you know, whatever. Like,
No, because they say men lie because a woman listens, and women wear makeup because a man sees.
yeah, that kind of thing, you know.
Man, where did you get
Where
this
have you
stuff
even
from,
heard
man,
that?
bro?
It's just
I've never heard that.
you
He's got
never
all the
what
bars.
we just did. But
Man.
my question,
Did you
if
see
you're
what
not-
kind of
are you
book
still
you read,
going?
man? Like,
I don't know. I think I lost where I was going.
I was gonna
Your
ask a question.
is?
I was gonna ask a
Yeah.
question.
What's the
Oh,
question?
So, this is just a very open question, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna go to the ladies.
yeah.
So, there's two things. It's either you are what you attract, or opposites attract. Where do you stand? Where do you base your policies on matters of the heart? Let me shed more light as you're thinking. So let's say if I say I want a girl who can like cook, she's hardworking, she's able to take care of herself, take care of her family. I should be all of that. Before, I can't ask for something that I'm not. You can't give love if you don't have it yourself. And then there's also opposites attract. So it's like, let's say I'm a very punctual person. I'm always on time. And if my woman, obviously, it's like...
No pun intended.
I was gonna say, I'm like, dang.
She's
okay.
like, there's those couples where you look at them and you're like, they are two different people, but they're like, they make it work. But then there's people where it's like, yeah, you see them and you're like, wow, like, yeah, definitely you suit because you have the same values, core value system. So for you as women, as ladies, where do you stand?
Oh, okay. I'm going first. Cool. Personally, I feel like it's okay. How do I start? So me, I'm a woman of God. I can't go for an atheist. Cool. That's the beginning. My like mindset when I was younger was, I'm gonna get married, and then like through our marriage, yeah, God's gonna start hitting good. I realized I am so selfish. I'm expecting to get a man who's already founded himself in like a very, very strong relationship with God, and I'm not working on mine at all. Where it's like, I'm here doing the bare minimum, one prayer a day, just so at nighttime before I'm falling to bed, and Bible, just scripture of the
Casually.
day, bang, that's
Phone
it.
rings and you're like,
Bible roulette.
Yeah, which verse am I
You the
reading
one.
today? Right? But I'm here expecting to get a man who's gonna like say, hey, let's Bible study, I have to also be putting in my effort as well. I can't like expect someone perfect when I'm literally fighting for my life, and I can't expect someone who's trying to deepen their relationship with God to go for someone who's not caring about it. So that's where I go, where I'm like, okay, cool. I need to go for what I attract. Like, I need to be what I attract. Cool, the cooking, yeah, sure, I'm sorry, my nigga needs to be able to cook. Like, if I can cook, at least be able to cook the bare minimum, right? Like, you can't cook an egg.
minimum.
You don't know how to boil.
man them will boil an
You
egg
don't know how
and
to
say here's
boil
breakfast.
potatoes.
But
Right.
who doesn't
You don't know how to
boil?
cook shima.
Nez, do you know how to boil
It's
an
getting
egg?
deep here.
Right, so I feel like
The silence.
in some aspects, opposites do attract, because I know I am quite like a semi-loud, like, at times, people think I have ADHD sometimes. It's serious. And I'm not expecting to find someone that loud, because personally, I probably get a bit annoyed by it. So I'm not expecting someone who acts the same as me, but in some situations or like some aspects, we do have to be on the same page. Just like cheating, I do not let cheating fly. Cheating is never going to work for me. A polygamous relationship is never going to work for me. If you're saying you want a polygamous relationship, I'm saying one love of my life and that's it.
Check that.
We're never going to fall in the same line. What
But-
is that saying? Unequally yoked.
But caring is sharing. No, I'm kidding. I'm messing around.
I think they're worried about you. Like,
Nez is like, anyway, that's amazing.
So I would say in aspects, especially when God is involved, I can't say I want someone who, is perfect and I'm here not doing anything, because when it comes to raising children, it's like both parents are involved. And in aspects of like personality, I'm not expecting someone to be the same copy of me or to have the same interests as me. I like crocheting. I didn't expect you to like crocheting. I like going for hikes.
what?
Crochet.
Nah, I'm just messing.
God, don't say that shit.
Bro, what?
I like going on hikes or like being outdoors. If you like
Really?
being indoors, it will hurt me a little bit, but
That's good.
it'll hurt me a little bit, but you're gonna have to like compromise anyway. So I feel like it's better to go for someone who has similar goals and values as you.
What's more important, someone having same goals and values as you, or someone having the willingness to align with you on your values?
Some values need to be the same.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to enter into a missionary relationship. I'm not here to save you. You must already be
Come on.
in your relationship with God. Do you know what I mean? Like, some things are like
I
uncompromisable.
think you are meant to save your partner, and they're meant to save you.
It's the
My
base
thing
of the
is
pizza.
like, I can't be the one to incite the desire in you to want a relationship with God. I'm not going to be standing next to you before the judgment seat of God.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So you need to be doing that by yourself. Like, the closer we get to God, the closer we'll get to each other.
The
You know what I mean?
triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even I agree with what Rutendo was saying. There's some things where it's like compatibility is a thing. Like, I'm not going to go for someone that I know I'm not going to like just to test myself. No. I'll end up being annoyed. Like, I'm a quiet person.
Sorry.
No. I'm actually a quiet person.
Thank you, Joshua.
I've got a problem.
Same way I'm a quiet person.
Quiet.
Man,
Anyway. But like, I'm a quiet person, so obviously I want a loud person. I can't go for a quiet person because I'll get annoyed. I'll feel like I'm overcompensating. But like, at the same time, they need to be, obviously, like, man of God is like baseline. They need to be like family oriented, because I love my family. So when I'm sharing good things that are happening in my family, I don't want you to be like, ugh.
Whatever.
Yeah, like, ugh. Like, you know what I mean? How we're gonna raise our kids together, I don't want you to be like, eh. Like, you know what I mean? I want it to be something that you value and that is instilled in you. Even the same thing, like, you need to be adventurous. I can't say, I want to go on a road trip. And you be like, why? We have a bed.
Let's stay in Perth.
Yeah. I can't. You know what I mean? Like
We have Mandra
compatibilities.
right here now.
Yeah, compatibilities are important, but I also feel like if you're dating the same person as you, you're gonna get bored and annoyed.
Some characteristics you like about yourself, but you wouldn't like in someone else.
I've got a problem, guys. Joshua, you're gonna say something?
No, that's it. No, there's a lot to unpack here, right? So I don't know. Maybe I can direct this one at the ladies since we have the chance. So I guess there is stuff that is like non-compromisable, like being saved, right? So maybe are you able to share like 3 things that maybe for you personally, or maybe you can even say in general, are non-compromisable, and then 3 things that are like, okay, I can negotiate this thing. Like you mentioned, that someone might not be into crocheting or hiking. So do you have like 3 things that you can say, these are non-negotiable for me, and 3 things that are like, these are negotiable?
I feel like there'd be like a bit more than 3.
Yeah, you can even go more than 3 if you want.
I would say like family orientation is a very big thing for me, because in my culture it's like once my parents grow old, I'm going to look after them. I'm not going to cast them into a nursing home. If you ask me to put my parents into a nursing home, I'm cutting you off.
Same.
It's like I would rather get someone.
What if that's the best thing for them? Like the best thing for them is for them to be in a nursing home while they're taken care of.
My parents
Just a
tell me
different
now
perspective.
that they don't want to be in a nursing home.
But
I would
what he's
rather-
saying is, what if it's the best thing?
Like
Like
that's the
it's-
best decision, the
it's
best
safer,
care, the
maybe you've got
24/7
kids,
support.
24/7 support, and like obviously just
You can get at-home support.
Yeah, that's what I was
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
true.
say.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you can
amazing.
get someone
Yeah,
to
I
go
was
into
gonna
their
say.
house.
okay.
Because I wouldn't put them in a nursing home. I'd rather someone go and
Yeah,
stay
that's true.
with them,
Yeah.
and I would pay
okay.
full time if I had to.
Yeah, because you can get that. Yeah.
It's like there's other ways to work around it. If I can't be there myself,
Yeah.
like I'm not expecting to live with my parents until the rest of my life. I'm so sorry. But if you're telling me, oh yeah, just cast your parents in a nursing home
Yeah.
and we'll visit them once a year, right? Obviously you can't be like, I want a godly woman, and here you are acting a fool. Like, I'm so sorry. If you're acting a fool,
How
I'm
does a
going
fool
to act a fool too. I lied. I
I just
lied.
clocked that.
You know what I mean? It's like if you're acting
Yeah.
a fool, you should want what you act like. Like, you know how there's guys, oh
You are
my
what
gosh,
you-
I
what
got
you
in an
think.
argument with someone. He said, yeah, me, I would love to have 3 wives, maybe even 4. I said, cool.
You're serious, eh?
I said, your wives are all going to have other husbands. He said, no. Is that not, do you want others as you want them to do you though?
I think that's a little bit different. But
There's
Why you
something
looking at
to
me
say.
like that?
There's-
Nah, I was just gonna say I'm conflicted, right? I've got a problem because, like, I feel like I like baddies, right? I really like baddies, but at the same time, I want like a God-fearing, like, let's pray together, partner. So it's like
what's a buddy and what's a
I feel
God
like you
fearing?
can't get a
This
person.
reminds me of
difference?
some
And my
reel
friends-
I saw on Instagram.
my friends, yeah, bro. My friends are like, bro, you can't get both. Like, you have to pick. Either she's in the church or she's a baddie.
So you
But it's
think
like-
church girls are
So, okay, what's a baddie? No, hold on.
Yeah, you're
what's a
right,
baddie?
sorry.
Like, I just feel like I kind of struggle finding people that are into the similar things that I'm into. Like, especially as Christian faith, like some things are like, I don't know, like taken away, like say, like adventure, like you were talking about, right? Adventure. I'm into like fashion, like aesthetics, architecture.
So there's no Christian girls in your
travel.
life that like
I've not met anyone.
Really?
Like travel.
I think Tamika
even
is ready to
financial. Well, like when it comes to like financial liberation, right? Where it's like, bro, like, how much equity do you want to, like, those types of deep conversations of we all have like Apple product.
Isn't this everyone?
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
wait,
so
sorry.
I don't know, like for me personally,
You know what that sounds like to me? I feel like you want someone who's you.
that's not me.
Okay, no, I feel like you're just okay. Wait, hold on. This is a very reaching
Yeah.
statement, so I'm sorry in advance. But I feel like you're not looking in the right places. Like, obviously, you go to church. I'm not telling you to change churches, but the more you converse with people, the more you realize there's different type. Like
Yeah.
there can't just be one brand of Christian girl. Do you know what I mean? There can't just be one brand. In the same way that Christian guys are different. Like
Yeah.
you said, there's some guys that are very beige. And then there's some guys like you where it's like you like adventure, you like fashion, you like doing all
I
these
like
different
Louis
things.
Vuitton.
But you
and
also
I still
like
love Jesus.
you also like pursuing a relationship with God. Yeah. I feel like you just need to find who you're looking for. First of all, pray about it. Second of all, look for it in different places.
So just on that one, where do you look if not in the church? Obviously, someone would say, "Oh, look in the church."
Yeah.
But where else can you look apart from the church?
Anywhere. As long as you're being guided by the Holy Spirit, anywhere. My only thing is like you can't expect to find love in the club. You're not Usher.
But what if I bring her to the church?
You're on a
okay,
mission,
look,
man.
my thing is
That's
like,
a mission. That's work.
if you want to be in a missionary relationship, that's your portion.
Oh, that's what you meant by fair
Missionary,
enough.
where
Yeah.
you're like actively like, hey,
Actively trying
Let's
to get
go
her.
to
that
Yeah,
person.
okay,
Let's
fair enough.
pray
Yeah.
What did you think she meant?
No, it's just I just don't understand, you know?
I think on the back of Tamika's words, I'll share something. I saw a video by some pastor. He's like, hey, you know, some of you guys are dating, you know, people you're supposed to evangelize to.
Facts, yeah.
It's like,
Sometimes God is telling you to go to that baddie to share about Jesus, but you're out here
Like,
trying
bro, like, she's
to
a
spit
baddie,
game.
you
Like,
know, she dresses nicely. She's just like, you know, she's confident. All this energy,
there's a lot of
Because-
Christian
and
girls
then
like
she's
that.
also Christian. We can talk
Yeah.
about Jesus at the same time, and it's not
There's
like
a lot of
there's
Christian girls like
so
that.
many of them.
But I think the thing is,
I think it just takes time,
It
man.
depends.
To
Maybe.
find, yeah.
Or the problem is you're looking at them like little sisters.
Ooh.
depends.
Depends.
The thing is, yeah, because the church is very based around brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
You can go to church and I'll just say, yup, that's my brother in Christ.
Yeah.
You're never going to make that switch from brother in Christ to, oh, maybe like, hey, that person's literally everything I was looking for.
No, I
nah,
feel
but
like
she's my sister in Christ.
For me, if I like him, like, yo, like that sermon was on point. But like, let's, you know what I mean? Let's grab some breakfast or something as well.
build the
Bro, literally,
conversation.
like, you saw the video I sent to you, right? Where that guy was like, girls complain and say like church boys are boring, whatever. Like girls want a bad man that's like a bad guy that's on the street. But it's like you can still be a church guy and still have like that good energy.
Man,
Another
I think
question.
every people Christians want different things. Like, you know, you can't
Okay,
put
no,
everyone
but
in a
let
box.
me just ask this question. So, why? I think I'm just trying to understand. I'm not even asking to ask a question. I want to understand because there's this connotation that every girl wants a bad guy or a bad boy. Correct?
To an extent.
Yeah, to an extent.
I think what I'm trying to understand is what really does that mean? Is it what it comes with? Because sometimes it's just like that toxicity that some ladies like. Because there's obviously a science behind it where it's like laws of attraction. You know what I mean? If a guy doesn't call you, you're like, what is he doing? Is he talking to other guy?
Look, I feel like at the end of the day, if she's not attracted to you, she's gonna find any nice way to say that she's not attracted to you.
Yeah.
But like from my perspective, if I'm like, what did you say? I want like a bad guy. What do you?
Bad
Bad
boy.
boys.
Bad boy,
Bad boy.
right? If I say I
Bad
want a
boy.
bad boy, I just want to feel
Bad
like
energy.
Like Nez.
I just want to feel protected.
bro.
Do you know what I mean? I just want to feel like if I was to enter into any altercation, you got me. I'm not gonna have to take off my hoops and fight for you.
What if
Okay,
it's
okay,
what if it's
someone
just-
who's tough, right? You need to be
So
tough.
the bad boy aspect is
yeah.
like an hour for someone who can step up.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could have that exact same personality, and you're not my type. Like I'm not attracted to you, and I'll think it's an ick.
Just the same as how, you know, the difference between flirtation and sexual harassment.
And harassment.
You know, if someone likes you, then, oh my God, it's so cute. You flirted with me. But if the same comment you can... Bro, I know what I used to do in high school. It's funny. Like... So no, like,
Go for it. Go for it.
I would hang out with my friend. I had a friend of mine, like, his name, I won't mention him, but he was, like, very good looking. Like, the kind of guy that girls like, right?
Was it me?
Bro, come on. And... no. So, like, my friend would say something to girls, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, like that's so funny" or whatever.
And then when you say,
And I'll be like, "Bro, let me experiment this." I would say the same thing that he said, and then I'll get a different response. I'll be like, "Wait a minute," you know. So yeah,
It depends.
it's just if
she's
someone
attracted
doesn't
to
like you, it's just like it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
you say, you know.
But I also feel like, cool, the way you come at a girl will depend how she responds to you. Like, I always say this, if you're genuinely trying to move to a girl, go to her humbly. Do not go to her like you own the world.
But some people, it's like when you go to her like you own the world, she sees that masculine. So
No.
it comes back to what he's saying. It's like,
Yeah.
it's all perspective. Sexual harassment and what was the other one?
Jerry Easy. Flirtation.
Man's lady.
I just remember what flirtation and
Flotation or flotation?
Right, you will go.
Implosion.
Whatever.
Man's in the submarine right now.
English is my fifth language, so but that, you know what I mean. So just the same thing that you're saying. It's just it's all perspective.
Yeah.
One person could see it as, oh, that's so attractive. This guy's alpha and he's masculine. Then another person will be like, who do you think you are? Yeah, you're not my dad. Type of situation.
Yeah. I reckon culture, like, culture has a part to play with this. Like, it depends on like how we were, you know. Sometimes it could be like we could have learned things from maybe our mom and dad. Sometimes it could be our culture, right? Like, you know, maybe Zambia, you know, as Zambians in the house, shout out to Zambians, you know. Zambians are usually pretty mellow people, right? You know, very quiet.
Zambians are mellow people.
Yeah, I'm not counting you, maybe, but you know. But then you go to a place like America, right? You know, guys, you know, people are, you know, up there, you know, they're assertive and stuff like that. So that might come out as more, you know, attractive. Who knows? It could be culture. Yeah, I'm just saying.
People want what they can't have.
You ate. You actually ate. I'm so sorry. You ate so hard.
What did they eat?
He ate
I
it
feel
up.
like I need to click a button.
Let's go.
Clap.
No, let me clap.
Yeah,
People want what they can't have.
I'm not gonna lie. What I've heard a lot of Christian girls say is like, I want a worldly guy who's Christian.
Yeah, like a
It's the
reformed
same thing that
gangster.
he's saying.
Reformed
He wants a baddie who's
But
Yeah,
for me, it's
gee.
what it represents. It's like I don't care about. It's what the package comes with.
You're yin and yang.
No person is a
'Cause,
like you know what I mean. He knows what I mean. He's
You just want a reformed city girl. It's okay.
city girl.
Reformed.
Reformed.
No, just like you know.
Putting a label to it, eh? Like,
Yeah.
No, I feel like in my
That is good.
opinion, Nez wants someone like him because you're saying the whole fashion aspect.
Bro, I've
and
met
the
people.
baddie. Yeah,
I've met people
baddie.
that are like me, and it's just like I met people that are like as loud as I am, because I'm a loud person. But if
it's
someone's just as
annoying,
loud as I am, it's like, bro, like you're talking too
But you're
much.
just
Like,
referring to
we
one
can't-
aspect.
I know,
Shanice.
but like you can't meet. Like one person has to. You have to complement each other. So like where I'm down, I need someone that can. It's like I look at this aesthetic. So I say, imagine I'm looking at I'm in the art museum. And I'm looking at an artwork, and I'm looking at the texture. And someone behind me is looking at the perspective. And then I'm like, oh, dude, I like the texture and whatever. And they're like,
And then
oh
when
my
you
god,
come
like,
together,
the
it's like a-
perspective. And then when you come
Yeah.
together like that, like combination, like someone told me that you don't need someone that walks in front of you or behind you, but someone that can walk together with you at the same time with a different perspective, bro. That is powerful.
For me, what it sounds like is there's default settings where it's like, let's say the same way you've put it in regards to this person is loud and this person is quiet. Those are default settings. It's
Yeah.
like not good, not bad. It's a gray area, right?
yeah.
But then there's other aspects of personality traits. Let's say if this person saves money, this person goes out, like let's say extrovert, introvert.
But can I say something? If say someone's willingness to do, say someone like saves money, the other one doesn't, but the other one's like, bro, like I really want to like work on how I save money.
Yeah.
So then that becomes a point of
That's what I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if like you find someone that has the personality traits that you like, but you're not physically attracted to them? Are you gonna compromise?
Ooh, it depends.
a
It depends what
really
God
good
says, what
question.
the Spirit says.
A bit
It's
more
a very-
God.
If
very-
God
yeah.
says like this is the one, and I feel it in my spirit,
How
like,
do you
bro,
know?
God is saying this. It's on your heart, like it never.
Let's
leaves.
dwell on this one a lot because
Because it speaks
And
to
found-
you.
unpack it.
no, I found myself in situations. I've had friends in such situations when they come to me like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "That's a sticky
Sticky
icky,"
one still.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens?
And I guess I can share my experience. Like, yeah, figuring out the voice of God is a bit tricky, eh? But yeah, get to know God, get to know His voice, and you can recognize when He's speaking. So like, I've maybe had situations where like, okay, I think this girl is,
Situationships,
and let's not go there.
entanglements.
Anyway. But yeah, maybe this person is like attractive. This person is attractive. But I'm like, okay, spiritually, maybe this person might not be saved, right? I'm like, I would know, like, in my spirit to say God is saying no to this,
What if the person is saved,
If the person is saying, we're like, why not?
but they're attractive, they have everything that you want, but the Holy Spirit saying no?
Yeah, usually there'll be a reason, right? There'll
That
be a
was
reason
deep.
why the Holy Spirit, will say no. And like, usually, like when God is speaking, like when God wants you to get into something, you have the peace, right?
True.
But when it's something that's not for you, like this person's saved, this person's attractive and stuff,
Bro,
but you just don't have
right
the
there.
peace.
That
The
one
vibe,
sentence you
right?
said,
Yeah.
you spoke to me. That's amazing.
What did he say?
He said
About peace?
if God like wants you, like if God wants something for you, there's
There's
peace that comes with it,
Ah.
and that just
Yes, that's really true. Because just
Yo.
before you keep going, she was saying something in regards to, I lost my chain of thought, but she was saying something in regards to where there's no, like where maybe it's all every box is ticked, but you just don't, like your spirit just doesn't feel, you know, this person's, you're physically attracted, they've got a lot of, you know, positives, but you just feel uncomfortable, and then he comes back to respond. You, if there's no peace, what happens? My uncle once told me is that there's certain situations where you reach a cornerstone where it's either left or right, and if you don't know where to go, don't go anywhere until you get the peace. And obviously that comes down to seeking ways of understanding peace. Should I go left? Should I go right? You're better off not making a decision than making.
Sometimes put it on the back burner, right? Yeah, you know, just let it wait.
Wait, so the quick question then. Do you believe in like right person, wrong timing?
Could be. Yeah. Eesh.
Because people evolve. So who you are today, let's say if I'm attracted to you today and I don't make a move, tomorrow when I meet you, let's say you've gone through a phase of growth and your growth isn't in line with what I am. You know what I mean? That's why it's very important when you're getting in a relationship, you don't just look at the now, but you look at your visions.
Longevity.
Your visions align.
I think it's the responsibility of a man to realize the potential that a woman has and the potential that she has to add value to him.
Capacity.
Bring to the table is the wrong concept, but it's more or less like what are you coming in for? Like, how do you come in? Do you come in? But
that's what I'm saying. That sounds like if I own a company and I'm trying to employ people, that's like asking the interview question that they always ask, what do you bring to this position? It's like, bruh, you guys have like descriptions, like you know who is gonna fit the role and how they're gonna fit the role, and it's just a matter of whether or not that person fits that or not. So as a man, and that's why praying for discernment is the most important thing. You know what you're looking for. You're the hunter. You're the one that's looking. The Bible says, "You that finds a good wife finds a good thing." So how do you find a good thing if you don't know what you're looking for?
Also, on the analogy of an interview, right? If you tell me exactly what you want, I'm gonna 100% pass it.
Become that. Yeah, I was gonna say something.
So if a guy asks me what I bring to the table, I'm gonna give him the generic good answer, and it's only through time of getting to know me whether you know if that's actually true or not.
And then after 3 months, it's like, oh my god, like she's different.
That comes back to what I was saying, where it's like today you can be this person, right person, wrong time. Did you mention?
I said that.
Yes. Yeah. And then it's like you look at the bigger picture. Like right person, wrong time it depends on how you.
There's no such thing as a right person.
Yeah. Okay, I've heard that.
Do you think?
I would say, to some extent, maybe I would believe it.
I just realized what you said. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll say to some extent I would believe it. Like maybe, let's say, you know, you're both two people, you know, God and stuff, you're pretty much all right, doing all right. But maybe one of you might be interested in the other, and the other one might be interested. But the other, one person has said, okay, I'm just not in the state of my life where I don't want to be in a relationship, right? I just want to focus on other stuff. So that, they could be the right person, but maybe you've approached them at the wrong time.
Then that's the wrong person.
And that's the wrong person, I was going to say, because if they were the right one, then they'll be ready at the time that you're approaching them.
Who knows?
But then you don't believe in the right person.
Yeah, I don't believe in the one. I was meant to say I don't believe in the one. People think there's like this, the one who God has saved for you. God has consecrated this person for you, and they're like, this is made for you. There's no such thing as the one.
So you
make the choice.
In your own opinion.
Do you believe in soulmates?
I think God has given us free will to choose our partners. Yeah. God gives us options. And God can literally give you like 5 options. It's still going to help you to discern, but you make the choice. You get to choose. You get to pick which DMs you reply to, for example. You choose, and the ones you reply to could potentially lead to something. God's not going to be like, okay, like you, and then she obviously lead it to him. He may like give you that in the spirit, but most of the time God gives us the power to pick. It's the same thing with elections, right? People are like, obviously leaders are from God, I believe it, but God gives us the power. We vote for our leaders through voting. So, bro, if you make a misinformed decision and then you vote for someone like, I won't mention some politicians, then you can't then blame God and say, because God gives you the
power to vote.
He's still going to be with you and still going to, if you end up in a wrong marriage, like, God is still there. He's going to love you just as he did, but you have that power. Because if there was such thing as a one, it means that if someone marries the wrong person, it messes up that cycle of someone's one has been taken, the whole system, the whole matrix is destroyed.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
That's so true. I totally agree. And I'm trying to think of how to even just choose my words carefully and maybe to explain it pretty well. But yeah, like that sort of thing. Like I'm not expecting anyone to be perfect, right? You know, because I have my flaws and my mistakes. But and that same aspect of the one and stuff, I guess it gives you the power to blame someone else if something goes wrong. To say, look, I thought you were the one, and you forget about yourself. You know, working on yourself, being actually, you know, the type of person to attract the one, right? So one thing that I've just made a point to myself is like, let me focus on being the sort of person that will attract, you know, a good person, and let me focus on being a person that will add value to the lives of people. And when you do that, you find it becomes like fire, right? You know, you have two torches, one fire lights another fire. Maybe you know, you've lit someone else, and maybe your fire goes out, that person can light you back. So I guess one thing,
two are better than one.
Yeah, two are better than one. Yeah. So like I just try to focus on like, you know, being a better person, being a way that I can add value to someone's life, and when someone comes into my life, because of that value, you know, they might even be able to add value to my life too.
I was just gonna correct myself in regards to asking a woman what they bring to the table, because over just thinking it, I think it's not necessary, because it's like even a lady asking a man that is a little bit questionable, but more so just rather the question to be asked is, how do our visions align? Where do you plan on spending the next X, Y, Z, 10, 15 years is a better way to put it, as opposed to like, what do you bring? It's like, what do you come with? I come with 10 eggs. What do you come with? You know what I mean? That's a momentary decision, but if you're looking long term, which is what relationships are, you should be more interested in, okay, look, I come in with this, I come in with the willingness to do this, and then you go from there.
And do you know how you can figure that out? It's just spend time with them. Spend time with them. See them when they're stressed out. See them when they're really upset. See them if they're like really excited. Then multiply or add all those. That's going to give you a good graph of where that person's going. And then you can see whether that aligns with you or whether it doesn't. But if you're just asking questions, then it's like, because I could do an interview and I could be the best candidate ever in that interview and I'm hired. But then if my behavior, my own actions is I'm showing up to work late, I can't finish my work on time, can't meet my deadlines, then what I said I am does not align. So the only way you can truly know someone is by walking with them.
Yeah. I think it comes down to, you know, getting to know someone, right? Like, you know, someone can say, you know, you can say, you know, something and then, you know, do something else. So yeah, you just take the time to get to know someone. You know, some people always, you know, put their good foot, their best foot forward, right? But then you spend time with them and you're like, whoa,
yeah, exactly.
This is not what I you know, came in for. So give a person time to show their true colors, and see if those colors are colors that match your frequencies and your
rainbow.
Yeah, your rainbow.
Ladies,
yeah.
Did ladies have anything to say? So quiet.
They're digesting.
Last remarks. Something you want to say?
Quotes. Let's go to the quotes.
Because we can continue having the conversation, but we're gonna have to end the recording in a few minutes. So, anything you want to say?
Rue looks like shit on me.
Rue is like,
no, I'm just smiling.
Smile for the camera.
Smile for the camera. Smile to the camera. Smile to that camera over there.
Now you make me nervous. Okay.
Smile, babe.
We normally end the podcast with quotes.
Quotations, yeah.
Any quote that you think hit you. So I'll start with mine before I forget. So, standard is not what you said, it's what you tolerate. That's my quote.
I'm just laughing because it's one of the doubles, the Jerry Standard double.
You know
statement.
the Jerry flavor, man. Buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
What's yours, Nez?
I'm just thinking we've really come a long way from habits and self-control to
matters of the
heart and whatever. But I think it's beautiful. It just ties into how organic these conversations are. It's like, you know, it's not scripted. It's just letting it flow and then having a good conversation. Yeah. I'll pass it on to you by myself sometime.
So any quote?
To you, John.
Just a random quote.
Like,
A random quote. Okay.
You better be thinking, because when it comes to you, don't be like, nah, I'm kidding.
Cereal before milk, or milk before cereal.
Cereal before milk, or milk before cereal. Okay, you just made me hungry, bro. But anyway.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? But now, that is
Any quote. It doesn't have to be like out there, but
Quote. I'm gonna pass it on while I have time to think.
that's good. Touche. You know, it's funny. I was actually thinking about something that I was gonna say, but then I'm just like trying to really dig into myself. Yeah, every time you do something that you enjoy, or every time you build in, pretty much creating neural pathways in your brain. It's like every time you do something that you enjoy, you're creating something. So be mindful of what pathways you're creating and
Awesome.
the kind of activities that you're doing, you know?
That's good. I think I have one now. Never stop learning because life never stops teaching.
Bars.
Okay, they're coming to me now.
you don't have to.
You can also just say anything, like last remarks, whatever you want to share, something that you loved about today's podcast, like the episode, something that stood out to you, like, you know, self-control, matters of the heart.
Under pressure.
The pressure is getting worse.
I'm really trying to think. Like, I literally have a whole notes page full of quotes, but my mind's just blank right now. But I don't know. I think I learned that self-control is more about, you know, how we form habits and whether they're good or not, and then discerning whether we should continue doing things based off of that or not. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
That's amazing.
So you left.
Bro, that's your cue.
Can you say it in Shona? Can you say the full sentence in Shona?
No. Who's gonna understand?
Local language challenge. We're gonna put like subtitles on the bottom.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. I'll just speak in
Okay, do
English.
half.
I'll do it in English. It's
Okay.
okay. No stress. English. Yeah. I feel like. Okay, but I've been saying this a lot. This is like one of my current favorite sayings. If you can be anything in life, be for real.
I don't even know what button
Yeah.
to click, to be honest.
Be for real with Jaramunda.
Be you.
No, just be so for real. Like,
Be for real.
why are you gonna try be faking anything? Like, confess to your sins. Like, claim your addictions as your addictions. Like, you know, be
Facts.
for real. If you have to lie to everyone, at least be real.
Mic drop one more
Be
time.
for real.
Yeah, just be real with yourself.
Be humble.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be
Sit down.
somebody but themselves.
That's so true, man.
Everybody wants to win, but the winner gets nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, Bad Influence, Good Advice. It's your boys, Josh, Nez, and
Jerry.
Jerry. And we got lovely ladies, Rue and Tamika. It's been an amazing episode. I hope you guys had fun. See you on the next episode. Peace.
Big up.